Hello and welcome back to Space Aces. I've done quite a bit of work, and so has Gem, and we've both done quite a bit in terms of enhancing the visuals for the game. And a lot of this will be shown in the actual video for the series, but just to get an idea, I believe we did Seeker last time. Now everybody except for Bomber is done. Other than these icons down here, the hotbar item. There's only a couple of those missing too. Got Soldier, Seeker we worked on, Mobility now. And then I think after that I did and this isn't being cleared because I'm in. Then we did Sniper, Soldier, and now we are actually on Bomber. And the most of the icons are actually done for Bomber, which is exciting. And by icons, I mean the items, which would be each of the grenades. So Bomber is kind of an interesting because he has basically two primary, a primary and a secondary. And I've swapped him around to have a new ability. So let's go through kind of how he works. Right now, this is all very similar. You can launch your plasma grenades. They explode outwards. And of course, we're leaning into each class being a specific color. That color is thematic through the entire class, which can be a key differentiating factor. So, see how that does. But this is almost exactly the same as it was before. But now we have his sticky grenade has been turned into a secondary when you're holding shift. And that's going to be very nice for I've tested it a little bit and I really like it. See the new sticky grenade, and that brings up the item number 2, which is the detonator. So it counts how many bombs you have, and then in the order that you see them, they get dead. So the so those get delayed. If I really shoot quite a few, they are based on proximity, which is a little bit interesting. So we'll watch it kind of explode this way. I'm thinking that's going to be kind of best in general. First of all, it's easy to do. That's why. But also, I think it's going to turn out that it's generally going to be more helpful that the bomb that is at your feet detonates first, and then the one further away. And it's one per tick. So if I detonate this, the one stuck to these guys go first, and then and it's pretty quick. So kind of set a fuse like that. And so part of the reason you want the ones at your feet to go first is so you can still bomb jump, right? That's it was stuck in the scaffolding. Oop. Now I accidentally threw the third ability, which is now a smoke bomb. And I think this is going to be a very interesting extra layer of depth to the game. It's an ability that is I guess blurs your vision, but in a because this particle system is volumetric. Not actually, but it collides with blocks and is interesting in that way. So we can see it blowing against structure, and of course it starts small and then expands outwards. Seconds it does that. Now, of course, AI mobs are not going to be able to be affected by it. So it also gives a very minor slowness effect. Just slowness for 1 second if you're inside of it. And it's just normal slowness, so 20%, I think, movement speed. That way it's not too much all at once. Just a little bit of a minor minor problem. So you should see, and it starts after a second. Music. Should be. Okay. So as we see, the grenade has its own texture. I guess I didn't, but I can do that. And then finally, Blast Zone. It reuses the grenades from, which is definitely a very fun ability. So another reason we made the stickies wait a tick is it actually nerfs how high you can jump with it, which I wanted to do, but not in a way that is unintuitive. So like theoretically, you could only go so high from bomb jumping because you're just away from them before or detonate. And even though it is fun to detonate them once, I think this is a little bit more balanced for his. Because just one sticky is kind of all you need. Standard jump height. Oh. Okay. All of the tracks. I have to remove them. I'm thinking that Bomber is just a little bit because of all changes. And so with that in mind, that's our goal for today, is to finish Bomber and then potentially even move on to the remaining 8 classes. So we're almost halfway done with this phase. Once these are all textured up and the models are made, what that means is we can episode which is the whole point of the episode, is finishing these, making them better, making the kits fun. I think the kits are mostly fun. There's still maybe a couple tweaks I might make, but in general, I'm very happy with how things are working so far. Okay, so let's go ahead. I created some new buttons to press in my stream. Yes, that works. Let me see if I can go ahead and port Bomber primary. So the primary is going to have 2 modes, so we have to kind of figure out how to do that. There we go. So the Bombers, this is going to have 2 modes, and I don't really like this thing look. Especially with the texture of this being changed and stretched all over the place. So, I want to start over. Do we want to start over? I don't think so. I think we should instead no, I think we need it. Plunk, it's all gone. Get rid of the gone. We should go ahead and import item. Never goes to the Of course, you can't see it. It's only smoke. I'm going to go ahead and do that, but I'm going to open up the texture as so that we have the. So this is something I need to be better about doing. The sticky. Open the grid. If I do this, I can actually import it as a reference. I can just throw that way up here in the corner, and then I can grab the actual colors from it. Okay, and while we're here, let's go ahead and grab the template right arm. So this is the arm that is just copied and pasted into every other mode or every other kit. So if I copy this model and paste it here, this is like the reference, and copy the display. Let's work. Let's see if this. Okay, like it actually did work. So this is where the arm is for the kit. Because we kind of talked about it before. The way the models work is it just stacks the two models with using the item definition. Basically, it says render the arm. Okay, you've got the arm rendered. Great. Let's go ahead and render the gun on top of that. So it looks like you have an arm. You do have an arm. And then if you don't have the weapon selected, also have an arm because it's the same model, but that's it. Okay. So I'm kind of thinking we do almost like a Tommy gun type of thing. Something kind of a that mag. Ignore what this looks like. Up. Using Alt makes it grow on both. If I make this vanish. Yeah, that just worked first. Oh no. Gotta fix that quick. So this will be the actual F by 3. So I like that size. Kind of big. Let's just go back. Snap that back over. Yeah, extend it. So the idea is like this. Yeah. What's up? The colors on this are not helping. Okay. So if we use this as kind of the premise of what is it, the Rumbler 9K, I think is gonna be the name of it. I feel okay, so that looks I think we can make kind of the same thing, but turn it to be that in half. We can delete the textures inside of there. Rotate this 45. I grab the snap tool. Basically do that. Like this. That's short. But it's like, yeah, it's like or 1/10 of a. So we are getting some Z fighting. We can. This theoretically should be able to actually. So is there like an extents resize to an object? Oh, okay. I need to look at this. There's a render. I did not know that. This I could probably also. Okay, perfect. Fight this. Shouldn't theoretically this. No, because. Go ahead and create a group for the. So this. X. I can copy both of these. Copy. Paste. And here, perfect. Kind of like that. But now looking at the rest of it. This might work. And if we grab the arm back, go ahead and shrink that. What I'm thinking, maybe grab all this back like that. That looks. I mean, it kind of does. But how stupid? These are the questions we go to. Go ahead and create. Sure. Save it. Jump over to Minecraft. Let's see like what. Let's get an idea of this thing. First of all, arm scale. Did not. It's not work. Right arm not. Great. That's really weird. So maybe the set is not. Yeah, why is this -5? Okay, so that just doesn't. Good to know. Problem is it's clipping so much. It doesn't look too bad first person. Okay, we can think about that. About it. What if we scale the whole magazine? That. Half the size. That's pretty small. And alternatively, we could make this. Could just do. Now we can just select it, swap it with. So the reason we haven't done too much round is because the arm is square, right? And that's where we have to start because we can't just make it a full gun. You can't make it above the arm. It has to be the arm inside of it or something of that sort. So we're going to have to always work within that constraint. And if you have the whole barrel or the whole thing be round, then it's either going to be huge or it's going to look like out of place. We might just be. I don't mind these. We could even exit. tiny bit. So these are nice when you do this because you can make a highlight color in there, and it's even smaller than it would be normal. Maybe we make a site. Could make a use testing. Man, I don't. Like, that does look. Granted, you can. Okay, that's something to think about. I've got mixed feelings. That. Maybe this right here is the problem, or part of it. Same width as. Okay. Height too. So that lets us extend these higher. I will sight away. What I'm thinking though is maybe we duplicate the body, add a half rotation. And then do something kind of like this. Does that do anything? Extend this out. It's fine. You can even snap there. Okay. Copy and paste it. Transform X. Now you've got that on the top, or the left and the right. Great. Let's go back to brainstorming about that. Yeah, I think what we'll separate that out. So okay, let's give this a shot. Maybe we can get somewhere that is unique enough to where it's not going to be. Or is he fighting a... Bag is a little goop. But I think I've got an idea. I got a couple actually. Step one. That down. That's roughly the size. And then we pull this all the way back. Okay, so what that does is it pulls it back together. And then we'll take this thing as well. Thing. Right? Make it shorter. Pull a very steeping. I'm sure. Basically, this pipe is kind of going from here up to here. And then that pulls it back into... Back up in. Oh. Don't mind that. We can go ahead and duplicate this thing. Pull it out of the... Put it down here. I'll actually make another one. How long is this? There. That's kind of interesting, huh? basically like maybe half a block and half. Thinking of doing a second one. A lot going on underneath. This is like right here is the least important part of the model. Let's undo. Keep these. Those I think do. Keep this all blank. And then we need to do something similar on top. Something to add. So I didn't add a rate. Here, 3 of those are the same. The bottom one. What if I... And that way. What if we add? Yep. Have to be. Don't. A little bit of unresolved texture at the top. What's more important? I think the other way. The gap here, don't think is as. Okay, so now we can. Situate. So now you've got this kind of like a flamingo, like or a deck of cards feathered out. So what we're able to do display normal, primary, secondary, ultimate, right? We can have those displayed at all time, or like a screen that's not lit up, and then toggle between the 3 textures when you do have it. Okay, let's look at that in game, because that could make or break things. Little goofy. I don't know if I like that. Part of it might be So if it was transparent, that might fix it. Go after me. I don't think this is the call. I think so let's need a yeah, so I'm thinking kind of flip this on its. So what we'll do. And I think this is just going to be better. Wonder why it does that. Eight. Degrees counteract that. Okay, that does it. This is too. That fit. Solve this. Also, kind of ties it together. And then this pull this back out to the wide, and we'll actually just texture it round. Simple as that. And then depending on which weapon is selected, we just change this little display. I just want to like an anchor patch that. Yeah. I think let's go ahead and start inflating. These I might be. Just for the sake of some, we will just. So far, I'm liking this. Now we got to make this top part thing. Can never have enough rails. Help. That's basically. So I could have this keep, or instead this balance out. I can't have too much interesting stuff to that will this kind of give. Basically the side. Other side. Now you have this kind of beef. And add some tail, but it's down. Because I think this is the width of the arm if we look at it. Yeah, so now it's Z fighting the arm, which is fine if we remove from it. And two. Oh no, I shrink. What we can do is fill in the corners of. Oh, if I. However, okay. Okay. Oh, cool. Here. Then kind of grow this. Ideally, we could get it right. Thing, then we back down. Okay. fine. The problem is it ends up being what how so if this is half, it's normally it's 1 square root of 2, so is this can't be square root of 1. um did a didn't it just be sine of 0.5 over 0.5? We're gonna do some math. Do a logarithm. Oh, here it is. Trig, of course. Sine of 0 times. Again on. Oh, it's 1 over 1, right? One. Probably just half a fruit. Just half a fruit. Okay, 7. I don't think anything past actually matters. Let me rephrase that. That kind of rounds it out. That's where we a little bit around this kind of makes the whole top of the model. I'm hoping. Um, I think I do. And then I think what we need is have a and I think that's kind of it. I think this is it. With the texturing wrap itself. When I wish I. And by wrap it. Actually, I like. I mean, like musically rap. Then I make a rap about this model, and that would be funny. Don't have any, which can be fine. Save this and left. I think it's a little too. This is like, why are we seeing the edge of this? In first person. But it's looking pretty good, actually. It looks beat. I want it to be heavy duty, but not absurd. Yeah, let's look at display. Right arm for. Why? Yeah, why is this 3.5? And why did that not get copied? I don't like that you can see the bottom of this. Do I extend everything? That's enough to be passable. Between the side is. You had enough texture, I think. At the top of this. There. That's all it needed. It was miles long. Oh, there is Z fighting right. So, final thing is the barrel, right? We can easily imagine the textures. This. What do we do? I like. Now that this has been Rated by 2. Like, that's pretty noticeable. But we'll look into that. Deal. So we do have a couple options. Got extra this, and then have an entire glowing thing on the front of it, or we could pull a model on the side of it. Kind of lean in toward glowing. What we're going. Snap this. Scaled. Not even. Imagine this is a and give it a scale. Seems to have not done it. Reason I want to do that'll make the glow kind of work better, but we might just do. Okay. Go ahead and actually texture. Create a new one. Right, that just that. Now, one of my favorite parts is just filling in color, right? You have a new tool that I color in by element. That way, if you miss something, well, it's just hard, simply hard something. Grab a or not even the tool that you're supposed to. There's our glowing end. About the colors of this. Do we want colored stripes or do we want the color to be the majority? Thinking maybe the barrel colored and then these stripes here colored. By colored, I mean like the more theme color of the kit. So if I do this, right, the theme color of the kit, and then maybe down here, it's colored. At that point, this thing actually do this thing. Maybe we do stripes. Okay. Have a good baseline. Then another color. I definitely want dark gray. Red. Thing. That too much. Okay. And then let's do these okay, I like that. Grab a I'm liking it. I don't like how heavy this is. I think what we need to do, we need to convert this stripe here, stripe to the blue. Not. I think. Okay, so this is set this to color and I set this to yeah, I'm setting the opacity to 5. I don't, although that fill bucket. I'm doing it the whole. style look. Too heavy duty. Kind of liking it. And we could do the same thing at the start. Oh, hey, Emmy. You? Thank you. Uh-oh. Should be auto UV. Size. Now those arrows not going to throw because you delete the face. What I should have done probably on parts of this model, but I don't. Probably just for. There. Get it just where. Like goofy looking. Okay. Let's paint this part in it. Because what that lets us do is if we turn this back on, I like this light color. Erase it. The auto UV didn't work too well on this thing. Okay. And I still can't do those. That's I don't know why some of those are 4 pixels and some are just. Okay, perfect. So now, after all of that, we grab this, we do by element, the opacity. And sometimes you get a little bit double visuals, but that kind of helps give that glow effect without needing full effort. Okay. So I'm liking pretty much the whole barrel. Looking at this now, there's a little bit of a seep happening there. I grab that. So like the most intense part of Celeste playing right now. Okay, guys. The idea. That's on me though. How if we back that? Maybe we paint. Okay. Is this in the middle of 2 pixels? It's actually let's just hover a little. Actually make okay. Thinking we need another color. Maybe a darker. Gotta paint paint the sides of this. Okay. Base. Creating those groups makes a big difference too. Making the model, and also just they save you a lot of time in the long run. This isn't like part of the mod, not visible. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, let's grab this dark. And while we're at it, we'll okay. I don't like how boxy that makes everything feel. Doing edges doesn't always fix texture problems. Sometimes it can. Or at least helps. Okay. This is right here is where we tell that is on one side and not the other. Can be side just kind of like a maze looking fire system. Those, who knows? Okay, this is boring, but it's almost favor. We add the dark. That's inflated the same amount. Like that. I have the same problem, but on the top now. I feel like these. Add a couple more wires and make the other less. Make this one less big. And get rid of this, basically. And add... Or like that. Okay. I think you're right. I think that does look better. Let me add those. I do like these. Add a couple like might have a multicolor setup. I like the multicolor. It might be really because we're gonna add noise, and that's gonna kind of fix it too. But you're definitely right with thinking like with that style of thing. Making up. So I think this wrap around. This should wrap around. Oh, have them intersect. Right. Sex. Part of the problem is it's like first, so it's not quite perfect. Like technically it intersects here, but like that doesn't always just work. It's kind of noisy looking. Alternatively, we could go vertical. I kind of I don't know. A whole wire. Sure. Like one of them be dark, the other. I can't make it look good. I'm sorry. That's what we do. That. Kind of tricky. Kind of tricky. I'm realizing that this blue here is a little. But I think it's too late. I'm going to go ahead and just save this. Light goes on dark. Okay. Save that. And let's look at it in game. Dang, that does look pretty cool. There shouldn't be a blue line there. Let's fix that. Or even look at it more. Uh, like you get a little bit of it does look beefy though. I will say I think it does kind of what we want. End does not look as good as I would like. But I don't think we could make it look experiency. Doesn't even look like these two are connected. They do from this side. Well, these two, but now these two don't. Maybe we leave it. Also, my grenades are coming like out of my chest. They're coming out of the it's kind of hard because of the way purple 8. Okay. So, I believe we can go actually imp. Primary, just that little bit better. Primary. Oh, there it is. It's the I'm gonna assume this is the window. I prove that. Save it as a project. The reason I want to know where the window is so that I can use it for other things. It is. Yeah, that can be the blank one. And so now all we have to do, paste, 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 flatten image. The only problem is like these textures are very small. Maybe we do double the resolution. That's gonna be. We do an 8x8. We could draw like what you're shooting. So plasmas. You change it to shooting the stickies. And then for the ultimate, we plasma, but different. Alternatively, we like really scale it up. Let's try this first. Um, First I gotta make the, but outside of this, it's like very. Selection tool in GIMP does not work like it used to. Used to be able to Control A and then select that anymore. Kind of miss it. Wait, this. Put the white like in the. Blue on the edges. Like that. How do we make this look more epic? Like, okay, first of all, we grab this. Okay. To get brighter. Okay. Not much better. So what was that previous? That's annoying. Okay, whatever. So we can manually set these up. Actually, what we should do is remove that from the main model and add that as a sub model. Anyway, ink. How do you reduce? That's a. I just want to cut like. Shut up. So it might be. Okay. Select feather. Why do I not know how to do that? So I don't want it to be full 0. I try to figure. Down. Stays. Okay, perfect. That's all I needed to do. Well, I don't know why that was so hard, but I know how to do it now. So when you swap to the gun, or the noise I've been doing for this is kind of crazy. You do the whatever this is called, and reduce it just a hair. So like that's pretty noisy, which is fine. But I like. I think for Bomber, I think it's okay. Okay, save that. Resource pack. Now it's pretty noisy. That does quite a bit to blends in with everything. Just okay, so sticky definitely is coming out of your face, which is funny. So okay, so the gunner actually I do. Back to bomber. Bomb shoot. So right now, see how it summons right here? And it gets teleported here. So if we look at the primary, it gets spawned just outside of like where you're looking. Like it gets, technically it's like where the bomb is at. But it immediately gets snapped to you. And I kind of explained this before, but because of that, it immediately gets snapped to your eyes and then immediately, so it kind of blends. I think that's why it looks less like it's coming out of, because it's only snapping over a single block and not more than. So it's coming a little bit closer. So I think what I could do, go into VS. This is what, left, right. This is up, down. I might be able to double. And that might kind of fix that visually. Might look a little strange. That's worth a shot. Yeah, that's better. Actually, it doesn't even need to be as loaded. That looks pretty. Okay, so let's go ahead and move it back up. I think that point. It's the wrong. The resource. That's pretty close. Actually, still a hair low. See, like, what happened. -0. Almost. Okay, let's move it even up. And I'm not even tabbing back. It kind of can. Yeah. See, that's pretty close. So now it looks like it's actually coming from. Okay. Okay, so now we've got the screen that we can use. Let's go ahead and make that. Making the music. It's just a really long silent part. Let's go ahead and make the screen change depending on what you. And I think the easiest way to do it, back to probably VS. Well, go back to block. So what we can do. Let's export this a separate. Call it primary. Aids. Okay, good. Because it's already exported. Worry about it. Delete. Take everything. Site. All we actually care. And in even it. So this is just primary grenades and base. Primary sticky. Down. Yeah, ultimate version. I'm just gonna call it primary alt. Okay. So now in VS Code, we have those 3 models. Actually, before we let's see, can I primary back? Okay. Take that. Don't want that anymore. Save it. Now we can go to VS. And basically what we're gonna say, then reload. So this reload happens when the game reloads, right? And this sets up all of the numbers and important data for each kit. Where would be swapped? And actually back to. So we are going. These 3 things. This generates the item because the item is a little bit more complex than being. It's a little bit more complex than just. Am I saying? I'm blinking. Oh, the data on it is more complex because it gets regenerated actually based on the in vaults, like the class stats. Because what I want to happen is the players to be able to do that stuff itself. Because that's I want players to. I think this kit's overpowered. Great, good for you. I'm glad you found a balanced idea. Balance it yourself, because each group is gonna have different people that play different ways. And because I can't perfectly balance everything with data, because of the way Minecraft works, you can't just pull data. You can get people to fill out a form, but then you can have kind of emotional bias. Because sometimes a kit that's bad, but is easy to get like a cheap kill, will get nerfed so bad that it's actually unusable. And I don't want any kits like that, but I still want like every kit. All of this. The only thing we need to look at here is the item model. Look at. I'm gonna take a finding things. Okay, so we got primary. We're gonna actually change primary grenades. That primary. So primary grenades, you've got the right arm, you've got the primary, and now you're going to have sticky. And so now that's kind of annoying because we have to. Does that matter? Hotbar. Pause it. And it'll be models. Which is array. And type. Model. And the model. Copy the primary plus that. Let's thing and we Okay, now for Blast Zone. This is great. I love this. We can just copy this whole file. Great, you got Blast Zone. Actually, we copy thing. Here, the Blast Zone. When you're holding Blast Zone, say if it's in your UI, go Blast Zone, which is the icon. If not, okay, great, that's fine. Show the right arm plus the primary alt screen. Hopefully, all works. If it does, oop, that doesn't look good. Something's wrong. And that's okay. Load. Did I reload the resource pack? Probably. Oh no, I didn't. Okay. Perfect. Okay, this is great. So you're holding. Get your stickies. It's like an egg. Swap to grenades. Swap to stick. Now the reload thing is gonna be broken. Let's go to... It's kind of the problem I've had all along. Give reloading. Alt primary. Primary. The only problem is now the screen's gonna turn off whenever you're... No, it's gonna use... It should turn off when you're... So now when you're loading... Which I think that's okay. I think it's fine. Would like... Because if I'm holding shift and constantly shooting, the screen is always the stick or the normal, and that's because it flickers a piece of paper with the model back to obviously how it should. Let's see if we can fix that. All of these. So let's say you got the primary pick, primary or, and then use class 4. Same. What we could do is make the model. Oh wait, no, I don't have to do that. Genius. Okay. Yeah, that's all it was. Perfect. So, I was just stealing the item from the wrong place. This is a fun little tale. The detonator doesn't close until all the... Technically, if you have a bunch of shot, and if I detonate it and then swap to back, I think the last one, like if they're still detonating, it's not going to detonate one until you right. I think is what happens. Let's give myself some more. I'm going to have to think if that's a good decision or not. Yeah, so those definitely stayed. And that's okay. Neat. Oh, we got a... Let's go to GIMP to do. So the smoke already has its texture. The... Very simple texture. That's it. Okay. Now just enough detail to make it interesting, right? That's important. Able to make this tell you which weapon you're shooting. It's instead of being secondary. Stickies. And it stays. Cool. Swap back to grenades. It tells you it's grenades. That's on the hotbar itself, right? And then when it's time to reload, it doesn't matter what it says because it says reload, right? I think Bomber is done. It's great. Looks so much better. I feel like it's this session has been like the most intense music. Need a little bit more chill music. Like I'm always complaining about that. Like it's good music. Nice. Okay. So, like, that's a lot of work we've got done. I haven't even tested Blast Zone. I'm sure you saw it, but I have to get it. Or my... guys, and usually they get stuck down here. I can farm. Yeah. Okay. So if you look at the difference, I might make it look. But it's definitely. Actually, what would be nicest is a animated. And that's one design decision I've done with the kits is whatever you have select the most animated thing. So Seeker's primary. The Void Needle is not a good example, but Swift Shade, you've got this glowing wristband. And Horizon, you've got that selected. It's glowing. And then Event Horizon, or Into the Void is that, right? Same with mobility. Got glowing on the gun there. Flash grenade, warp. Sniper doesn't really have much. But why that's got white along here. Getting stitched together properly. Yeah, but so. Oh, this is cool. I'm actually pretty happy with it. Burst heal. Your wristwatch is always going. There's like a health monitor. But if you're about to burst heal, okay, I'm ready to heal. And it's a little bit slower of an animation. Different colors and everything. And then Fast Blast actually turns your blaster into... So that's a little bit of spoilers for some of the kits. But I'm actually pretty happy with what we got done today. That was a lot to get done for a bomber. Like, there's a lot here. And I think... And leave it at that. This kit, and of course all of the faces are going to be swapped later. That's something that doesn't really matter. We're in first. I will get those done, or actually Jim probably. Yeah, that is it done. We have 8 left. I think we're ready to go. All right. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate everyone stopping by or stopping by later, listening later. And tuned.